Hi everyone. I'm going to do just a Saturday afternoon practice. I guess it's afternoon, yes. So, sitting head, neck, and trunk aligned, and just settling in. And taking a moment to focus on abundance today. And moving into a 2-to-1 breath. So inhaling perhaps to 3 and extending the exhale to be twice as long to a count of 6. And just taking your time to get there. You may even want to rest one hand on your heart and one hand on your abdomen to help cultivate that sense of abundance, of having enough of what you're needing today. As you gradually extend the exhalation, you'll start to notice the body naturally finds that alignment, allowing the muscles to gently soften, finding the support of the bones, the stability of the pelvis, and the support of the floor or whatever you're sitting on coming up to meet you. Even allowing yourself to move through all of the layers of flooring, what's underneath you, to connect with the vibrations of the earth. The earth provides what we need. Finding that sense of security and stability and inner strength, building resilience. Maybe now your breath is inhaling to 4 and exhaling to 8. So noticing when you get to the end of the exhalation, there's usually just a little bit more air that you can expel. So drawing the abdomen in and then slowly feeling everything rising and expanding on that inhalation. One more time, long exhale. And then gradually bringing the chin down towards the chest. Just finding some space in the back of the neck, softening any gripping through the muscles of the face, letting the shoulders relax away from the ears. If you tend to hold tension in your jaw, this is a good place to maybe open and close the mouth a little bit, releasing the jaw. And then gradually taking the crown of your head over towards the right shoulder, pausing here. Chin dropping back down to the chest. And taking the crown of the head over towards the left shoulder with a pause. Coming back down and allowing the breath to sync with this movement. So inhaling as you come over towards the right. Exhale, chin towards chest. Inhale as the head comes over towards the left. Exhale, chin towards the chest. And one more time. Pausing. Releasing. And last time to the left. And blinking the eyes open if they're closed, gradually lifting the gaze. From here, making sure that your ears are over your shoulders and your head isn't forward. Go ahead and place the left hand on the left shoulder, right hand on the left side of the head. And just very gently encouraging the stretch from point A to B between the hands. So not really tugging or pulling. Letting the left elbow drop down. Creating some space here. Connect with breath once again. And after the next exhale, gradually release. And move on to the other side. Gently encouraging the stretch here. Letting that right elbow drop down. Finding space. Noticing if there's tension anywhere, that you're creating effort where there doesn't need to be. And gradually coming back up, interlace the fingers, placing them on the back of the head, gently lift, and gradually tuck the chin. And you can press the hands forward and the head back into the hands. And then gradually letting the elbows come in and letting the chin drop, rolling in, extending this stretch across the upper back. And perhaps underneath the shoulder blades slightly. On an inhalation, slowly coming back up and releasing the hands, crossing the other leg on top, so switching it up a little bit. And from here, taking the arms up overhead, interlace the fingers, and you can keep the index finger up or you can turn the palms up depending on what's most comfortable for your shoulders. And then on the exhale, reaching over to one side without tipping, right? Keep that left hip down, find the space. And back to center. And other side, reaching and extending. Keeping that right hip grounded. Back to center, releasing the arms and extending the legs out in front. Making sure you're on your sit bones. And from here, take the arms overhead and on an exhale, hinge, coming forward, keeping the spine tall, so like there's a string lifting from the crown of your head. And then take the arms down, so creating some support. And you can use your mat a little bit here to pull back if you want to, pressing the hands down and pulling back and seeing what that stretch feels like. Taking a nice deep breath here, and on the next exhale, allow yourself to round forward, coming down. Maybe extending the arms or holding on to the feet or the shins. Breath, full exhale here, noticing when you soften, if the stretch is too intense, and a little support in. So remembering that we can create our own stability and support. Slowly coming back up. And taking the left knee up, folding out towards the side. Inhale, arms coming up overhead. Exhale, folding out over that right leg. And you may even want to turn the head towards the right, letting the left shoulder drop down a little bit if that's comfortable for you. On the inhale, slowly coming up. And switching sides. Right leg coming up, folding out towards the side. Inhale, arms coming overhead. Exhale, folding. Finding that stretch that works for you. Maybe turning the head to the side. Coming back up, bottoms of the feet coming together. This is a nice place sometimes to give the feet a little massage, taking care of your feet. Noticing any places that are sensitive. You can even stretch the toes forward and back, right? You can weave your fingers in between your toes and open up that space if you like that stretch. And then from here, cupping the hands under the feet, or you can hold on to the ankles, lengthen the spine. So if you start to lengthen and think, oh, maybe my feet are in too far, you can always adjust where they're at. And then from here, go ahead and lean in. We're just going to do a little bit of a cow stretch here. So think of sliding the heart forward slightly and lifting, and then lifting the gaze so that the shoulders draw away from the ears. Right? Remember, always take care of your back. So if this bothers your low back, then leave it out or adjust. And now from here, go ahead and come into your cat stretch, tucking the chin, rounding, coming down. Everybody's at different places with this stretch, so honor your body and where you're at today. Right? Still cultivating that sense of abundance, so making sure that always reflecting upon where are you at today and what can you do with the body that you are working with right now in this moment. So we're coming into a tortoise stretch. Gradually coming back up, keeping the left leg where it is. Take the right leg out towards the side. And you can kind of flex the foot to stay a little bit more grounded here. And we'll do that side stretch here. So some weight here, so sometimes just pressing in the hip crease to give a little bit of feedback to stay grounded here is helpful. And then taking the left arm up. And as we exhale, coming over. So again, we don't want to tip and lift that sit bone off of the floor. So breathing here. To center and then switching sides. So right foot coming in. Again, flexing the foot a little bit and grounding here, reminding yourself to keep the pelvis stable. And then right arm coming up. Exhale, coming out towards the side. Center. And then one more time in turtle. So remember, you have some variations of tortoise here too. You can weave the hands underneath. Right, coming down here, and that creates a way of rounding and pulling up to get a little bit more stretch in the rhomboids. So getting underneath those shoulder blades here as you come down and kind of round and tuck your chin. You also have that option of going into tortoise by bringing the legs out and the head down. From there, gradually coming up. We'll come into our straddle, and then again starting with the spine tall, lengthening from the crown of the head, leaning in, and your inner thighs will tell you when it's time to stop. And then from here, you can let the legs soften a little bit. So I see people try real hard to keep their feet flexed here. Go ahead and let them soften. So be forgiving here with letting the feet roll in or whatever needs to happen to keep your hips comfortable. And then walking forward. Again, starting with the spine long. Keep breathing here. This is one of those stretches that if we're kind and we don't force anything, the body will allow us to ease into the stretch and give us a little bit more space, more abundance in our stretch. And remember, if you start to go deeper into a stretch and the body says, I don't think so, you can always come back, right? You don't have to stay there. One more long breath here, so using that long exhale. And slowly coming up. And now from here, we'll make our way into table. Making sure that the wrists come forward a little bit out in front of the shoulders. Spreading those fingers out, distributing the weight. And from here, go ahead and sit back into a child's pose. Reaching the arms out in front, pressing the hands down. So getting a little stretch through the shoulders now. Coming back up into table and just checking in with the spine with a few cat-cows. So on the inhale, lengthening the front of the body in cow, and on the exhale, rounding in cat. And a couple more breaths here, letting the heart lower down towards the hands. And then sliding the heart back, rounding, tucking the tailbone and the chin. And one more time, cow. Into cat. And then coming back to table. And from here, coming down onto the elbows. And interlace the fingers or tuck one hand and make a fist, cupping the other. And then from here, go ahead and slide the nose forward. Exhaling, pulling the abdominal muscles in. And then gently press back. So again, it could be forward just a little bit and then back, or it can be nose coming out in front to the mat and pressing back. So you decide. Good, and we'll do one more of those. And this time widen the knees, crossing the big toes, and then sitting back into your child's pose. Up to table, getting the knees underneath the hips, hands out in front a little bit further here. And go ahead and tuck the toes under. We're just going to lift halfway for our down dog. So we're going to lift the knees up, and then we're going to shift the bum back, pressing through the arms, looking back towards the feet. So find the stability. My hands are sliding. Hugging the elbow pits in towards one another, so stability through the shoulders. Breathing here. Good. Knees coming back down. And from here, making our way down onto the abdomen. Tucking the chin towards the chest. Lengthen through the back of the neck, so if it's comfortable for you to put your forehead down, you can, or you can use your hands or your forearms. And allow the heels to roll out, toes to tuck in. So lift up the thighs and let the quads kind of roll inward as well. Making sure you're connecting with breath here, so going back to feeling grounded and held by the earth. And then rolling the tops of the thighs down, tops of the feet down, sliding the hands back and lifting into a cobra. So pressing gently through the arms, hug the elbows in, heart slides forward. Again, take care of your low back, so squeeze the glutes. From here, we're going to press into table again. So pressing, using triceps, tucking the toes, going into down dog. So your full down dog here. So maybe that's bending one knee and then the other for you. Walking the dog. From here, start to make your way into plank. So feet come in a little bit closer to one another. Again, hugging elbow pits towards one another. Notice what's happening with the shoulder blades, or you can think about sliding your heart down and back and finding the middle ground there. Sometimes forward and back, right? Playing with the weight here. Making sure you're not collapsing into your low back, right? So even a little cat stretch is better than sinking. So taking a couple more breaths. Knees coming down. This time in our child's pose, we're bringing the arms alongside the body. Making our way back up and coming into table, moving into down dog, and then from our down dog, making sure that you're steady, stable, secure, and safe. Go ahead and lift the right leg up into the air. And from here, bring the knee in towards the chest, rounding the upper back, let the shoulders come forward towards the wrist, and then extend back. And one more time, squeezing, rounding, extending back. And this next time, we're coming into pigeon. So bringing the knee all the way up and through, placing it on the mat, extending the back leg, your tail feathers of your pigeon, and finding some length But it can be here, stretching like somebody's pulling that string on the crown of your head, right? So if coming here is uncomfortable on your low back or your pelvis for any reason, find some more stability. And then walking it down. And you can stack the fists and rest the forehead here. It's always good if you have a prop to place underneath. This is a nice place to use that long exhale again. Letting everything soften, and then if that's too intense, right, you can invite, so you get to choose where you invite some of that support back in. So it'll allow you to notice if you're gripping places where maybe you don't need to be, or maybe you do, but it's a conscious choice. Slowly pressing up. Tucking the toes, we're stepping back to down dog, so keep your abs engaged as you lift up and step back. Taking a couple of breaths here. And now taking that left leg up and drawing the knee in towards the chest, rounding. And kicking back. And again, rounding, squeeze, and extend back. And then this last time, we bring this knee all the way up and through for pigeon on this side. Lengthening. Again, if lengthening means here, keep it there. So take care of your back. Remember, we always have the version of this of coming onto your back too. And so doing that kind of figure four. So if coming down onto your knee and putting weight in this direction is not good for your body, modify it with the supine version. And then walking it down. Again, that long exhale, so softening and noticing where you might be gripping. I just noticed I was gripping in my jaw, so that's wasted effort. And slowly pressing up, tucking the toes, drawing the knee in and up, stepping back to down dog. Breathing here in down dog. And knees coming back down. Coming down onto the elbows again. So we're going to do those dolphin push-ups. So we did a modification last time, so you can come back to the modification, right, with the knees down. Or you can lift the knees up this time. So decide how you want to hold your hands. Interlacing sometimes if you have rings on can be uncomfortable. And if you're going to interlace, tuck those pinkies under. So when you're ready, coming into dolphin. Make sure your elbows are directly under your shoulders. So if you feel like you don't have support, maybe they're out too far, right? Come back down and find that alignment. And then coming back up and coming into your dolphin push-ups. Let's do 5 of them. So sliding the nose forward in front of the fists and then pressing back. So you're exhaling as you're coming forward. Inhale as you come back. And again, it's up to you. You can come a couple inches forward and go back, or you can slide the nose all the way to the mat and press back. Good, I think that's about 5. Knees coming down and coming into any variation of child's pose. So just grounding and resting here. So maybe rabbit, with Easter being tomorrow. Right, or we have this variation of rabbit. Coming into kneeling, and from kneeling we'll go ahead and do a frog or garland pose. So coming into a deep squat. So if the feet are too wide, you can bring them in. Right, just sinking down here, and you can always press with your elbows if you want a deeper stretch for the hips. Sometimes just rocking a little bit from side to side can be nice. Right. And sometimes putting the feet totally flat doesn't work for people, so it's not that there's something wrong with you, there's not. So just modify it for your body. This is a nice place too to think about lengthening the spine again. Okay, so if your arms are not too tired, we worked a lot with those push-ups, but we are set up to do crow. So if you feel comfortable practicing, this is a good place to have a pillow or a blanket because there is the potential to face plant. So just putting that out there, make sure that you don't hit your face on the floor. But spreading the fingers out. And what this is doing too is really strengthening your core. You have to work with some of those bandhas, so you're pulling everything in and up from the pelvic floor, right? And by bending your elbows slightly, you're creating a little place to put your knees. So start to play with that a little bit. And just let yourself figure it out, right? There's no hurry. So take your time here. And if you feel like you're in a place, now remember you're not putting your head down. So I was thinking about that, and maybe we'll work with stepping it up to headstand. Actually, some of the strengthening in the upper body we've been doing in this practice helps build you up to being able to work with headstand. So rocking forward, so your head and your bum are kind of your counterweights. So we're not dropping the head down. And when you slide forward, if you feel like lifting the feet off the floor, you still have to really keep pelvic floor, abdominal muscles, inner thighs, everything really engaged to come into that arm balance. And just try it a few times. I know sometimes we make a goal of learning something, but trying to do an arm balance all in one day sets you up for a potential injury, so please don't do that. So from here, I was thinking we would do some standing postures, but yeah, let's go ahead. Go ahead and come up. And we'll start by stepping the feet out wide and turning the left foot forward, right foot turns in just a little bit. And bending that front knee to 90 degrees. So we've already done a lot of hip opening. So squeeze the glutes, tuck the tailbone under, and see what it feels like to think about pulling the iliac crest, right, the top of your pelvis here, back, and this knee back, right? And you'll find a spot. I have a hip that tells me when that's too far. And making sure that your knee is lined up with your second or third toe. Notice what's going on through your back foot. And then think about pulling the mat in. So if you could make a wrinkle in the middle of your mat, so really engage the inner thighs. Squeezing in, and then take the arms out. And take some breaths here. And again, on that exhale, notice if you have your shoulders up, softening there. keeping stability through your core. So just keep checking in, really being present in your body, noticing your breath, continuing to work with those thoughts of abundance. From here, pressing the legs straight, and now reach, and then windmill the arms, coming into your version of triangle, Trikonasana here. Bending the knee, coming back to warrior. From here, turning the foot forward and coming into your straddled forward fold. Halfway up. If it seems safe for you to lift out of this, you can. Otherwise, you can always heel toe the feet in. Get a little bit more stable in your foundation, and then make your way back up. And now other side. Starting with Virabhadrasana 2. So bending that knee to 90 degrees or less. And then again, thinking of this hip pulling back. You can see what the knee does, so you have to find that compromise. Arms coming out. Notice what's going on through the feet, and as you engage through the inner thighs, again, pulling everything in, like you're creating a wrinkle in the middle of your mat, drawing it together with the muscles in your legs. And then continue to breathe, softening through the shoulders. So another modification, if you tend to hold a lot of tension in your neck and shoulders, is to turn the palms up and soften the elbows. Just notice if you took your spine out of alignment and engage here, pulling the base of the ribs back in. From here, straighten the leg, reaching, and coming into triangle on this side. Back up, and from here we'll do goddess, and so feet turning out, bend the elbows on the exhale, bend the knees coming down, and then back up, so not letting the pelvis go lower than the knees. Back down, back up, one more time. Exhale, and inhale up. Heel toe the feet in. Let's do one standing balancing pose. So we've done a lot of hip opening, stretch like that. So shift the weight towards the left leg, hug the muscles in, so find your stability there. Find your drishti, your focal point out in front, and just get kind of light through the right leg, kind of touching the ball of the foot, the toe. See what that feels like. We're going to slowly, and there's lots of modifications here, so you might want to watch and then try it, because if you're listening to me and trying at the same time, that can be really distracting and hard to balance. So we're bringing the knee up, right? You have the option of holding here. You can hold here. We have done a lot of hip opening, so you can try this out. You can also hold the bottom of the foot and extend if you like that stretch. Or anywhere in between, sometimes getting a little toe lock, right? And then reaching one arm up can be nice. also brings you into this variation of tree. That one works for you. I have to hold my foot up here because it will not stay if I let go. From here, whichever variation that you're doing, go ahead and cross over the thigh and then come down into your chair. Right, so again, take care of your knee. If your knee bothers you, you may not want to. You want to make sure you're not pushing down too much here, right? Flex your foot to protect your knee. If you like coming all the way down into your forward fold here, you can come down, hands come down, and slowly coming into that fold. And then seeing if you can slowly work your way back up. And stepping down. Good. Grounding in the middle. All right, other side. Shifting the weight, hugging all the muscles in. Again, getting kind of light on that left side. Find your drishti, your focal point to keep your eyes on. And then drawing up, either interlace. Take it out to the side, holding here maybe. Do the bottom of the foot. And extend. Maybe, not today. Or that variation of tree. Hip doesn't like that one on this side, so I'm going to modify here. And then crossing over and coming down into your one-legged chair. Maybe coming all the way down and then tipping forward into that one-legged forward fold. And taking your time, keeping your focus. Ooh, not so sturdy on that side. Coming out, coming into Tadasana. Interlace the fingers. Inhale, bring the arms up the front of the body. Exhale, press forward. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, circle the arms down. Interlace behind and inhale. And exhale, hands to heart center. Good, all right. So let's go ahead and bring it back down. And we'll make our way down onto our backs. A little bit more hip opening before we go into relaxation. So fidget as much as you need to make yourself comfortable here. And we're doing trying to press the small of the back into the mat and engage all the muscles. So if you come down and your back tends to do this, see if you can find a way to support yourself a little bit more to allow this tucking and this lengthening through the low back to happen. And from here, go ahead and take the right knee up. Interlace the fingers and draw the knee into the chest. Extend the left leg, let it hover about an inch over the mat. Nice deep breath here, and as you exhale, let the left leg come down and just soften, letting the right leg sink into that hip socket. And making a few circles with the right ankle. Be kind to yourself. So movement is the goal, not how noisy it can be. And then reverse the direction. And now taking this knee in the left hand, take the right arm out to T and pull all the way across. Releasing that low back. If it's comfortable for you, you can extend the leg. You can even do the toe lock here. Bending the knee, slowly coming back to center. And returning this foot to the mat. Left foot comes to the mat. Again, on an exhale, pressing the small of the back into the mat. So drawing the muscles in and up, squeezing, grounding that low back. So make sure you're trying to do the work with your abdominal muscles and pelvic floor rather than pushing too much through your feet. And coming to neutral. And now drawing the left knee up, interlace the fingers. Remember, if this bothers your knee, you can go behind the knee. Extend the right leg, let it hover about an inch over the mat. Deep breath in. And as you exhale, let the right leg lower, softening through that left. And then doing some circles with the left ankle. Other direction. And now taking this knee in the right hand, left arm comes out, drawing it all the way across. And then extending the leg if you like. And you don't have a wall behind you. The leg is extended, gradually coming back and returning this foot to the mat. And from here, arms coming out to T, go ahead and heel toe the feet out so that the pinky toe is hanging off the edge of the mat. And now from here, take the knees to the left and press the right hip forward. So feeling the stretch up through the quad, up through the side body. You may even want to reach the right arm out a little bit, or maybe bending the elbow gives you more of a pectoral stretch and a shoulder opener, so it's up to you. I like to turn my left arm down and ground a little bit here. Bringing the knees back up and pausing in the middle, and then with the toes still hanging over the edge of the mat, take the knees to the right and press the left hip forward, feeling the stretch so the muscles kind of spiral around and you can feel all of that in the stretch, working up through the side body and through the pectoral muscle, the shoulder. And again, you can decide how you want to arrange this arm. I like to take my right arm and roll that palm down and ground a little bit more through that side. Continue to breathe here. And knees coming back up. Heel toe the feet in, bottoms of the feet come together, allowing the knees to fall out towards the sides here. Sometimes having pillows, something to support, can be nice. So if it's uncomfortable, you'll be engaging your inner thighs and muscles, and it will get tiring. It won't feel so comfortable. So I could really use props, but we're keeping everything tucked away, and so everything is nice and sterile and clean when you all get back here. And you can make the same shape with the arms if you like that over the top of the head. You can even make a third diamond shape over the crown of your head, or if you like a little bit more grounding, you can place that right on the abdomen. So lots of options here. Then moving into a position that's comfortable for you for Shavasana, for relaxation. So after doing that external rotation, I usually like just a gentle internal rotation of letting my knees rest against one another for a breath or two. And maybe rocking the head a little bit side to side. So we started with our neck exercises. Then coming into Shavasana. And letting the feet just fall out towards the sides, letting the hands fall open. Going back to that 2 to 1 breath, so allowing your exhalation to be twice as long as your inhalation. Imagining the body just kind of sinking into the earth. So maybe it's more like sand that you're resting on and feeling fully supported. So that sense of safety and security. And just resting for the next few minutes. Again, cultivating that sense of abundance. There is enough. You are enough. As long as you like. Or starting to bring your awareness back by wiggling fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. Reaching the arms overhead, stretching from fingers to toes. Making your way to one side, resting here. And maybe reminding yourself of all of the ways that you have support or that you provide support. And keeping those connections. pressing up to seated. And may the longtime sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within guide your way on. Namaste.